Well, here Google has criticised the federal government's proposed mandatory internet filter, saying the scope of content to be blocked is too broad. While it's not comparing China's crackdown with Australian efforts to censor the net, it says there needs to be better education here on how to deal with contentious material. Lucinda Barlow is from Google.
Look, I don't. Comparing Australia and China is like comparing apples and oranges. Very different. While we are deeply concerned about Australia's plans for a mandatory ISP filter here in Australia, at least we're here on the airways debating the issue, and government has really encouraged us and everyone throughout Australia to discuss the topic.
Have other countries, apart from China, taken steps to filter their internet?
In Italy and in Germany, there are mandatory ISP level filtering regimes, but the scope of those regimes is very, very narrow. In Germany, they filter out child sexual abuse material, and in Italy, child sexual abuse material and gambling. Here in Australia, what is being proposed is a filter that is the first of its kind amongst Western democracies, in that it is both mandatory and it is very broadly scoped, covering not just child sexual abuse material, which really nobody could argue with, but also the grey realms of restricted classification, which covers what we think is politically, socially controversial material, incitements in any crime, and just it's too broad and too heavy-handed a system.
The government would argue that it's not trying to censor the internet, it's just trying to protect the public.
So we support the government's commitment to protecting people online, and the primary way of doing that, we believe, is education. If anything should be mandatory, it should be education, telling people how they can differentiate content themselves, what kind of tools are available to them. And the second thing is about empowering people with their own individual tools that they can make choices about what they want to access online. And thirdly, working very closely with law enforcement to ensure that people who are putting this content up are dealt with in an appropriate way.
Lucinda Barlow, thank you.
Thank you.